Stand is people with kids that act like everyone in the world should just bend over backwards and cater to them because...
So I was initially going to stitch this out of costume, but then I thought, you know what, I'm recording as Mary Poppins today. I may as well just stitch this as Mary Poppins, at least in the costume, because it's highly ironic considering the story I'm about to tell. So I've been a kids entertainer since 2014, but I've been a Disney princess impersonator at kids parties for the last 7 years, which I've recently retired from doing because, not gonna lie, your girl's a little bit sick of it now. But back in 2018, I had a weekend where I had back-to-back aerial parties one morning, like literally two-hour parties, one after the other. But then in the afternoon, I was invited as a guest to a friend's birthday barbecue. So I finished my aerial parties and then went to this friend's birthday barbecue just as myself, like I said, invited as a guest. I was not entertaining, I was not dressed as a princess, I was literally going as myself. And obviously it was a friend's birthday, so there were a lot of Prosecco and Pimm's, and I was getting very merry. I was getting very, very drunk. So I'm at this birthday barbecue just chatting to my friends, and then this woman approaches me and she comes and sits next to me. She taps me on the shoulder and she goes, "Oh, you're Georgia, aren't you?" And I was like, "Yes, hello, stranger, nice to meet you." Now, I should probably point out that at this birthday barbecue, obviously there were a couple of children there, just kind of running amok, having fun in the garden. Like I said, it was a beautiful sunny day, so the parents were just getting merry whilst their kids were running around. And this woman goes, "Oh, that's my daughter over there." And I went, "Okay, that's nice." She then said, "You're a kids entertainer, aren't you? That's what they've just told me, you're a kids entertainer." And I had a sudden feeling that I knew exactly what she was going to ask me, but I said, "Yes, I am. I actually had 2 parties this morning, funnily enough." She then says, "Oh, the kids are really, really bored. Do you think you could just, like, run a party game for them? Or, like, entertain them just for a bit, just so they're out of our hair for a couple of hours, you know?" And like I said, I'd been at this birthday barbecue for a little while. I'd been drinking a lot of Prosecco and Pimm's. I hadn't eaten anything yet. I was very, very drunk at this point. And I politely, but slightly bluntly, just kind of turned to her and went, "Are you going to pay me?" Obviously, I said it laughing, but she just looked at me like, "What?" And I was like, "Well, yeah." And I continued to kindly explain to her that, you know, it was my time off, I was invited as a guest, and, you know, unless she was going to pay me some money, I was not going to take time out of my celebration of my friend's birthday to entertain children that aren't mine, that, you know, I have no interest in, to be honest, at this point. Like I said, had a whole morning of kids' parties and I just didn't really want to be around kids at that point. And of course, this woman did not like my answer very much. She then went and complained about me to absolutely everybody at this party. But you know what? I had to set some boundaries, you know, unless she was going to pay me money, I was not going to entertain the kids. You know, I mean, you can tell me I'm wrong in the comments if you want, but I personally, it was a personal choice to say no. And you know what? I don't regret it. I had a great time.